thank you very much. Thank you to all of you for being here. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I want to thank my good friend Dr. Broadhurst. He is my law partner, as he indicated. He ran and served in the legislature for a number of years. And despite the fact that he was a Democrat, I am honored, hopefully, to follow in his footsteps. I also need to really thank people closest to me. If you look around tonight, you will see that my entire family is here, and not just my brother and sister and their families who have supported me, but my wife Jean's family, my sister-in-law, brother-in-law, and their children are here. Of course, my parents, who are always and have always been the most supportive people in my life. I mean, there are no words to thank parents for all that they do, but whenever you call them, they're there, whether it's holding signs, writing a letter, interjecting with opinions that maybe you don't want. But they're there nonetheless. And of course, my most immediate family. My wife, Jean, and my daughters, Catalina and Isabel. I can tell you that this was not a decision that could have been made without their love and support. I mean, you just can't take the time to run for public office unless your family is 100% behind you. Some of you were there at the Ramada Rolling Green 12 years ago when I announced my candidacy for the same seat that I announced for tonight. And I can tell you it was 12 years ago, but it seems like a lifetime. I was practically an entirely different person. I was younger than I am now. I was single. I didn't have children. I wasn't a property owner in the district. I was just starting my career. The decision to run then was easy. I had nothing to lose. But today, things are far more complicated. I am married to a beautiful and brilliant physician. I have two of the sweetest daughters you'll ever want to meet. We have a home to take care of. I've got an ever-growing law practice. I have a partner that I have to answer to. And I have to tell you that the decision this time was significantly more difficult than it was last time. And like any major decision, you sit down with your family, you start to weigh the pros and cons, and I have to tell you, every time we did this, the cons far outweighed the pros. Every single time. And so, ultimately, there had to be a reason that propelled me into the race. And you must be asking, why on earth would you want to do this? It's a question that I ask myself almost every day when I wake up. But ultimately, there was one guiding force, one main reason that trumped all others, and it was simply this. I do not want to look in the mirror 40 years from now and see a man who spent his whole life complaining and never did anything about it. Now, we all know people like that. People who spend their entire lives complaining, but they never have the guts to put their names on the ballot. They complain about what government does and what it doesn't do, what it could or should have done but can't, and yet they never have the guts to do it. Those people who stay up at night blogging anonymously on the internet, okay, but don't have the guts to put their names behind what they say, well, I've never been one of those people, and I'm not going to start now. Now, I have to tell you that when you listen to some of those folks, you can't really blame them too much. I mean, after all, there is a lot to complain about. And quite frankly, I'm sick and tired of it. I am sick and tired of living in a state that I love, that is so manipulated by one political party that opposing viewpoints can only be heard as whispers because they're so irrelevant. I am sick and tired of a government that chips away at my liberties and freedoms on a daily basis. A government that thinks it knows better than I do how to run my business, raise my family, and live my life. I am sick and tired of a government on Beacon Hill that continues to raise our taxes, increase fees, increases its own budget, while all the while cutting local aid to cities and towns. Quite frankly, I'm just sick and tired of being sick and tired. And as I look around this room, I am incredibly humbled by all of you being here, but I am particularly humbled by those of you who I know do not share my political views on every issue. But presumably you are here because you know that I will be an honest and straightforward voice for you. You will always know where I stand because I will always answer your questions. But despite that, I will also listen to your responses, listen to your opinions. I'm not that hard-headed, despite what my wife might say. I can be swayed by fact and reason. Ultimately, this race isn't about parties. It's about common sense and bringing a little bit of sanity back to Beacon Hill. Now, that is not to suggest that I am devoid of principles or opinion. And I can tell you this, in all of my decisions on Beacon Hill, in any issue that I study, in any vote that I take, I will have one guiding principle. And it is simply this: liberty above all else. Because you see, my father was an anti-Castro revolutionary in the 1950s. He was imprisoned for his political beliefs. He subsequently escaped in the trunk of a car to a friendly embassy, or he most likely would have been executed. He came to this country, served in the military here, waited years for my mother to join him. Years later, she finally did. They were actually married by proxy while she was still in Cuba. And they came here and they had 3 children, all of whom they raised and educated, all of them who are here tonight, who are productive members of society. I know firsthand what tyranny does to a people. I know firsthand what happens to a country when we chip away at its liberty. And what I see in government today at all levels, local, state, and federal, is a government that continues to chip away and chip away. We're adults. We're free people. We know what's best for us. Stop telling us. It's that simple. And that, ultimately, will be what guides me in the State House. Now, I'm going to go a little bit off script because I want to address the 2 selectmen from Andover that are here and the City Council from Lawrence up here. I want to tell you this, and you can go and tell your colleagues, that if I am elected, I will go to Beacon Hill and I will fight to ensure that you have the ability and the flexibility to change your health plans within your cities and towns without union approval. It's going to save millions of dollars for our local communities. Now, folks, for the past 15 years, I have lived and worked in this community and in this district. I have property here. I have a law practice, though it's in Methuen. I spend my days working in Lawrence. My wife is a physician who works in this district every day. My daughters go to school here in Andover. I say this not by way of biography, but because there are other people in this race who are not nearly as invested in this district or in this community as I am. And I will tell you this, there will be no candidate, Democrat or Republican, who knows this district better, who has worked in it longer, or who will do more for it. I promise you that. So as Arthur mentioned, okay, this is not going to be easy. We have a primary, we have a general election. It will be hard fought. I need your help. I need all of you. I need your money. I need your friend-to-friend cards. I need you when you're out on the soccer fields or in the hockey rinks or in the baseball parks to tell the message, because it's worth it. And when they see a bumper sticker, and by the way, you're all better on bumper stickers, okay? And they ask you, why should we vote for Sal Tabit? The answer should be simple. Because if you are a business person who lies awake at night wondering how you're going to make the next payroll, how you're going to pay increased healthcare costs, or whether or not you have to lay somebody off or cut somebody hours, then this is your campaign. If you are a parent who's concerned about how you're going to pay for your child's college tuition or how you're going to save for retirement, this is your campaign. And if you are an average, ordinary citizen that is just sick and tired of business as usual, then this is your campaign. So let the word go out. I appreciate you for being here. I thank you so much. I look forward to running. I look forward to serving you. Thank you, and God bless all of you.